Hi friends, you are most welcome to this new video tutorial with OSP Pro. In this video today I'm going to be working with you guys in PHP, coming up with a simple management system. So we're going to be breaking up things together, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy this video. So basically this is how we are going to come up with this application. We're going to design a simple application connecting up with the database. I think I made those videos some time back, so I'm not going to make the same video again, but I'm going to just walk through all the steps. So it's going to be like approximately like 20 minutes video. So we're going to break everything together. We're going to start off from the database first of all. That's where I'm going to basically start up with, so that we get to know where to start from. So this is my PHP admin. You guys can always go to PHP admin in your PC, and if you do so, definitely should take you to this same platform. And we're going to just come up with maybe a simple maybe let me just say what maybe should I say library management system. Okay, let's come up with the library management system for this time and a minute in a 20 minutes time. Let's just try to start with it, or let's just get started. So let's just get started and we'll see. Now remember, the library management system, it has got some few things around. First of all, it has got something called we expect the borrowed books to be borrowed. We have the already books added in the store, the new books in the store. We have the login panel, but I'm not going to make the simple login panel. I'm not going to make login panel. I'm just going to go straight to library management system. You guys who would really like me to make for another new video, you comment down below on this video description. And you guys who want to learn more of things or have the funnier projects and want me to come up with one for you, you can all easily just comment those down below. You'll find I'm going to put there my email and my website link, where you guys can follow up us and definitely be in a position to be with us. Then you guys from Uganda, you can definitely come to Uganda, and then not in Uganda, but you can actually come to OSP IT Digital Solutions. You are located in One Decade Diamond Trust Bank buildings, second floor, so that you can get a chance to learn with us. Now I'm not going to waste time, you guys. I hope by now maybe you should have a clue on how to create up a database. So let me just walk with you through that. So I already have one database called test by default after installing your app or WAMP server or any of the any. Should give you a chance to have some databases. So I have several databases here added, several tables added inside this database. So I'm just going to create a database called library, I think that's library underscore system, something like so. And then I'm just going to add the following stuffs. Maybe just make it 8. So remember, adding up a table. Remember, we expect library ID for the library. We just expect to have one as the book ID, the book name. You get the name of the book. On top of the book, I may talk of the book description, but let me just make it simple. We have the library, talk of a book name, talk of the book book what? We need to add also something called the book subject or what? I think I just need to add there something called subject ID, subject underscore ID. That implies it directly I need to create another table called subjects, which will be track to that. Or if not so, to avoid confusion, just something called course ID, and we may also add something called the book date added, something of that sort. So ID and the rest I'm going to leave them as int, and then this of the name I'm going to give that one to something called the version. I'm using 200, but you guys can use 255 because you have no limitation. And then here I'm going to just make my ID to be automated. Now this ID I'm giving is a book ID, and that's what I'm giving for my book section. So as I hit enter, I should have that just sorted for me. So we have that ready. Inside our test, we have the library called, whatever called library. Yeah, or if this is kind of much confusing to you, if you just needed to set up something here, I have no problem. I'm just going to export my database, the table, sorry. I have my table downloaded there. I think you guys should have the table there downloaded. So what I'm just going to add now here, I'm just going to go back to here, sorry, inside not test, just going to go inside here, and I create something called library DB, just library DB to be sincere, and then I just import the database we said, the table we said we had, which is this. So I'm just dragging my table there, and I think you can see it's done with the loading or loading it. And if I may check, I think you can see it shows me success there. So if I hit go, fails me, just check here, go back here, downloads, and then I just go to, that's it. So this is it. If I click here, I should have my table added in as expected. So this is it. So underneath here we should have the table added in as so. So we have a table called library, database called library, and then library DB, and then the table inside it should be books. So I can just create a query here to name from that table. Alter table. The table is called library system, and then say rename it or change the name to books. You get? So books. So that should be important to change from that table to that thing. So we already have that, so I've already changed the table to books, and that's it. So we have inside the books, we have some structure, have book name, book course ID, and then the book date added. You get? We need to know who borrowed what, but let's just draw our structure. So guys, this book system is going to be a simple flow for you guys. Then the next thing we have to add here is called the courses. Get? So we just need to track one on us course ID, talk of the course name. You get? Something of that sort, and the course name should be also the same thing, and the course maybe date added. Get? Course date added. So that's how I always give my system in simple term. So click here, I go here. So we have that already done with us, and books and courses. You get? So we already have this added to it. We have books and courses. Now we already have the book. We need also to track something called, my friend, the smoke's too much. That's why I say I'm like kind of, but I don't have corona, don't worry. So I'm not, although I have it in Uganda, don't worry, for you are safe where you are. So you just need to close your PC when you see me kind of, no, sorry for that. But otherwise, what I'm trying to let you know here is that we already have the courses, which gives us course ID, course name, and then talk of the books, book ID, book name, and then that's it. But we have other things to track. For instance, talk of tracking up book when borrowed, what. But these are the first criteria needed for the administration to work, for the administration of the system. So let me just get started with this. I'm going to just use simple Bootstrap to use this to come up with this application. You guys, you can download Bootstrap on your PC if you don't have one. So let me just come up with a simple folder to generate up a given system, and then I'm just going to come up with a simple folder here. Just check that. I'm going to just create something called YouTube. Okay, let me just create something called library system. So you guys don't need to save a system, don't need system with from me. You guys can always hit me up, link it with me, guys. I will give you a system you need. You can always just go to my YouTube. This system I'm going to upload it on my website, so you guys you can get the source code there, and I'm also put it also in Gumroad, so you guys will need to pay me some small money. Otherwise, if I know what I'm doing is interesting, give me some money. I need some money. That's the fact. I don't want to lie you. I need money. So if you want to be my good friend, you know that what I'm doing is good, give me money. I don't want to lie you. I give what you need. So I don't want to be a liar. So that's it. So we have the course name. Sorry, I'm even forgetting cause of money. Otherwise, this is it. Library system, we have something called the CSS and the JavaScript. Though I may not use JavaScript as such for this in this application, but this is it. We're going to just add here some of our files within are there. And this is it. So this I'm going to just add something called the PHP file. Sorry for that. So I think you can see I've already added some PHP file of ours, so that we can be in a position to come up with what we need. Remember, I've said we are going to use Bootstrap to come up with this application. So this is just going to be library talk of management system. But remember, what I'm giving here is just a straight over code, but I don't advise to come up with that, because there's something called essential and the rest that you can always integrate into the system. The reason I'm trying to talk about that is first of all, login, where user has to first do the authentication as administrator, then later on also go the other side where the other normal people, or the student, or the lecturer, or the teacher, or the staff can go into the library and borrow a book, can take back the book, the expiry date of the book, etc. So that's something very big, but otherwise if you find this interesting, it can also solve your problem, especially if at all you're complete beginner in PHP and maybe you also want to do some small work. But otherwise, if you want a complete project, I have it already. You can always hit me up, or if you want to design it based on your specifications, I can also come up with your own real complete app project. I said I'm going to put their JavaScript, CSS, Bootstrap. So let me just try to get some Bootstrap file here on my PC, so that we don't waste a lot of times. Otherwise, I'm working offline. Yeah, so I think I have some Bootstrap file. I have them here. I may just drag this too, but no, don't want to confuse. Let me just get to your Bootstrap file. So guys, I hope you should have some clue on how to use Bootstrap, and that's it. So I already have my Bootstrap file there. So then, place, if I link my Bootstrap, bootstrap.min.css. So I think I already have my Bootstrap file inside here on a PHP, on our project. So we already have that, something of that sort. Now that's good to go for now. So if I just click again on our browser, we should have the following: localhost /projects /library system projects for library. Sorry, my spelling is too poor. Library system. So that's it. I think that should be position to change. What's that? If it fails, still okay, because there's no big scene there. Library system, something of that sort. So I'll do the changing of the spelling again, so that we can always be in a position to do what is needed. So that's it for now. So what we need now to track is the books. You get? So you need to add something called a Bootstrap container. If you need to add a container, so let me just add here a container, into my Bootstrap container, and I should add the row, maybe row, and then I'm just going to add here something called div class, and which div I'm going to add something called maybe adding up one on us. Actually, I'm going to use the complete big version for the desktop mode 12, and I'm going to just simply say maybe h3, and maybe say library management system. You guys, you should find this under my website OSP Pro. You should find this there, so because I'm going to make sure I upload this into OSP Pro website. So you guys should be in position to get this. So let me just write say text blue. Let me check whether it can work out for me here on Bootstrap W3 CSS. Oh sorry, it's not giving out, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to just say alert, so that I don't waste a lot of time. I'm just going to select info and also text center for this text of mine, and that's it. So I think that's enough for now. Remember, use the container so it does not take the complete bridge. Or if you find that much not good, you can also use something called, you just need to cut this off so that you can take the total width of this stuff of that sort. Yeah, something of that sort, if it is okay with you. But I'm not after being so what. So let me just go on here and just do the what's needed, so that you guys will get being on the same platform. Okay, I'm going to just create another div class inside here, and I'm going to say maybe we need to divide the stuff. So this is going to be row, and that row is going to be having something called maybe let me just create a class. I'm going to make this side whereby you can add a course. You can add a course, then the other side you can actually maybe, after adding a course, maybe add a course, and then the other side we add maybe the books, and then we should see the courses and the books, things like that. Should have them in one table. Just trying to show you guys some simple brief information, how basically, depending on how you want it, you can do it another way, and I'm just giving us some small idea on how this thing is done. Then you can proceed with your own way. So I'm going to just divide it by half. So I'm going to just use 6 there if it's okay with you. Remember, we're dealing up with the books, so this is going to be definitely maybe H4, maybe book or books history or book history, one of the two, or any, I don't care, each guys knows what you want. So book history I expect to be somewhere there. So I think the best way to handle this part is by creating up a simple container so that can contain, that's a container. So this thing, I'm going to drag it inside my container, and then I just do that so that my container can always bridge the gap, something of that sort. That's container that, so it can always contain that. So this is it. We have this book history and then one known as courses, okay, course history, something of that sort. So I have that there. Now let me just say in a simple term, inside here under courses, I have some good sum of forms of mine. I'm going to use the method post to post to the database, and then action, I may leave it for now, though you can also use an HTML escape characters to bypass on your action, so that when someone try to put things, does not try to put malicious code, cannot just try to go on to your PHP code or mean into your project. Now here I'm just going to do something of this sort. We need to add something. I'll just now hand it from here at once under Bootstrap. You guys, if you have some clone Bootstrap, we have something called form group, which gives the form to be in the complete row. And then I'm going to just maybe come up with a label here. Label, we need to know the book name. In a simple term, I just need the book name. I don't need another big stuff load in this project. So that's the book name, and then I just need to get here text for the book and the value for the book. You can also give that so that when a user gives that into the project, they tend to get the real stuff. So this is going to be book underscore name. Remember, that's the very name to my case around. It's what I gave here under books, where there's a book name. You get? We definitely have that in our project. So that's what I've given into my project, and then that's it. So let me just say here in a simple term, maybe enter book name. But remember, I'm going to get some error here because it is not defined, but that one, don't worry, it's something minor. We can always come to that later on. And maybe what I just not add also is something called maybe a class, which class this time around is going to be handling for us something called the form control, which gives, this actually is from Bootstrap, which gives the form to take the complete width of that given page, if that's what we want to come up with. We can also add some little bit of our own simple CSS if it's okay with you, like for instance box shadow. I always use this so much on my projects. If you guys might have got a chance, by any chance, maybe me making move for your project, I always use this so much on my projects because it gives me a complete understanding how W3 one on a card works. So guys, something of that sort. So to give me some good understanding how a card in W3 CSS works. I may also use radius to be maybe of 10 pixels. I may also add some padding to be maybe of 5 pixels. I think that's enough for now. Yeah, so that's enough. So I have here course, and that's it. Remember, we need also to add the course ID, which if we give that, so course name. So remember, course name should be coming from courses, and to do that we need to do something called selection, and this time I'm going to give that as option, and then I simply say maybe select course, something of that sort. And then here I don't give any value. Remember, if you want by default your stuff to not have any value, to be just maybe picking from your PHP code, from your source, you should do that. This will always give you to one position to handle the error. That implies if it is null. If it's not given, then definitely should tell please provide the course. Then here I'm going to just do some simple PHP to fetch the course. So I will simply say maybe my code for course is equal to one on as I'll maybe use this connection to my SQL database, but remember I've not yet connected to any database, but we are going to create one, don't worry. So I'm going to simply say select everything from our table, which is called courses, I think we have a table called courses, if you guys are not mistaken. The table called courses is just within here, and that's it, courses. That's a table called courses. So there, definitely if you do that, you should be in position to get courses. Maybe say order by course whatever. I don't need to do that so much for now. Let me just do that so that you guys should be in position to come up with a complete courses. Remember, we need to fetch them in this way around. I may say row, I may say my row is equal to one of something called the course. I'm using object oriented, but let me just use this one, simple procedure MySQL, so that you don't get lost. Fetch a sock so that you can get a complete understanding of the stuff, whereby this time it is courses. Okay, course, which is this course. Yeah, so that's course details, if I'm not mistaken. So that gives us the course details into our PHP code. Then here you can just use this code to echo for you an option. Remember, an option is just like this, you get, and it's what you want to echo inside here. So this is going to be tracking the course name, you get, and this is it. So here we need to know the course name. So I'm just going to say maybe row course name, but if you don't want to use row, you just try to extract from here. There's something called extraction, which we tend to use if I say I'm just extracting row per row. I'm extracting row of the course. So if you do that, then you don't need to do row. You just need to give the name as if you define it with you in the program, and the program should be in a position to just interpret what you might have said. This is what I've said, but for now remember, if I refresh this page, I should get an error because I don't have it with me. You get? I don't have it with me. I'm happy it has not shown me error, but let me do this with you guys so that you be in a position to do everything with me to go. So I'm just going to define your database so that we can just say we have it. I don't know why I always do that. Good. So I'm just going to use one of my connections around. I always tend to use some different connections. Just get this. Oh Jesus. Just get this. So this is going to be library system, which is this we created here, library DB. Okay, if this is confusing, let me remove this crap off. Get? I don't want to you guys to say this guy just did ABC. Let me just do this just DB connection. So let me just say we have that, and I always use con with double whatever. This same as having MySQL connect that. And then here I'm going to use localhost root password, and then the database, which is that. And you can always do the other side if not connected, or if connected, echo that. So if connected, show success. Maybe else echo fail. So what has failed is DB connection. So I can just echo there and I say dot MySQL I underscore connection connect underscore error. Remember, it cannot give us an error there because obviously I've not linked to the main page, but remember, I'm linking the page, so that's it. I think you can see it's showing success to us. Okay, so this I'm just going to move this off because I don't need to this, so I'm just moving any of this. Okay, just try to do this. Good. So we already know we are connected, but we don't have the stuff. So I can now go back to my page here. Remember we said with this what we have course, we need to get the course name and the book name and the course should be going to the database, and here we need to define one as a PHP variable echo for us. Remember we need to track that row, you get the row. Let me move this thing off so that you guys, if you're using extract, please, you don't need to use this, so you just need to do that. So this should be something called, we need to track something called the course underscore ID, and that course ID is what we give on our row here on the name of our stuff, like that. And you can also add the class called form control to our system, something of that sort. And if you do that, I think you can see it should be working just like that. And then underneath here we say the course and the course name. Remember, none of them are there, we don't have anything, so you cannot tell what's really going on, but this is it. Remember, we've defined our stuff here and you're already inside the PHP, so there's no need, okay, that's it. So that's what we have for now. And then if you try to go back again on the other side of the page where the book history, we need to add the books. So I'm just going to copy the same codes I've given here to our books so that we can always have the same thing. So book history, so that you just change to book history, you get. So under book history this side should have something of that sort. And then under book history we don't need these, we don't need these, we just need to get the book name, and that's it, so that's it. So I have that, so me simply say save book, and type should be submit. We are going to be submitting, and then here submit, and then this should be save book btn. It's like save book button, the button which I'll press to save the book. It should be in position to work for us, remember, something of that sort. You could also add some Bootstrap to it if you want, by doing btn minus maybe primary if it's okay. Yeah, but the spelling should be fine to give us what we need as that. So because of time and I don't want to waste a lot of your time, guys. I just need you guys to know what is needed and how things are done, and that's it. Good. Remember, this is what we have. So have your save book. This should be save course. That's save course, you get this save book. So we need to remove these defined functions. It's because our database is not defined. But remember, this is it. This is for books. Book starts from the ends here, so you can just go underneath here outside your form and define your PHP. And remember, when I define my variable, which is actually, remember where the database connection, I've already configured it here, which I've said include for me this file connection, and then I can also make something called the session start. This gives us a chance to make sure the program continue working with the given session. But I'm not going to activate it for now because there's nothing like login of a user and there's nothing like authentication for now, so I don't need it. It can always work as normal. The first thing we need to do here is a variable declaration, you get. So we always need a variable declaration in our program, and then here we need now to define a given function for our given project. Though I may not use the function for this project, I'm just going to make it simple. You guys, we should be as simple as possible. So this should be book name. Good. So book name should be book name, and then this is book name, and that book name is equal to nothing. So I'm just going to define that stuff here. If you set, remember you're going to be posting to our database, and that is going to be submit button for the book, which I'm going to place around there. You get? So we have read that with us. We have that with us. So if you check back in here, we have book name is equal to trim. Okay, let me not use even trim, you just use something simple, you guys, so that you don't get lost. But you can always comment down below if you have any question in PHP, if you have anything in Python, whatever. I don't care which language, I don't know which language you always use. Now I'm also handle something if at all it is empty for our project. If at all it's empty, we need to handle something. For instance, give us an error if it is empty. So you can simply say here, if empty, what's empty? If book name is empty, what do you want to do? We do handle here something called array handlers, so that you can handle our errors if you would wish by defining an error into a page and simply say call them into array. I always handle my errors as array in our project. Most of you guys who have ever used my project, I do that. And for instance, I'm going to pick for each of error, I'm going to add your s to be errors, and I'm going to take them as error. You guys, if you have any problem in what I'm doing here and it's kind of confusing, don't forget to comment down below on my PHP course, either on Facebook or YouTube, whatever, where you comment, I'll always get in position to respond to you. And here I just need to return for me errors, because I'm treating them as error, and if it is happen to be in my project, please let me know if that error exists. And then here I'm just going to say array push for me errors if it is any that exist in my project. And then here I'm just going to do the following. I'm going to simply say I will create session, but let me just simply say maybe book name is required. You get, book name is required. So this is what I'm going to talk about. If you refresh this page, I think you can see, and you click there, say undefined book name, line 26, should check that, line 26. Line 26 should be book name, undefined. Oh, I didn't give it here, sorry. Book name, good. So if you check here again, try to do that, I think you can see there's nothing's talking about book name. And that's called book name, and that's book name. So if book name, if empty book name the book is that variable book, and should be telling us if this button is clicked. So this button should be save course. Save course btn, so that I don't confuse the project. I expect it to give me an error there, I don't know why. So we said array underscore push. So you need to echo array underscore push to echo for us that given stuff. You see, it's giving me one. That implies definitely my error exists. So if you have some error there in my project, that's definitely how you can always push up errors if you have them in your project. Now, because we have just one line of code and it looks so funny to handle errors in such just one single line of code, one line of just one inbox, and do this, it won't be a wastage. So just simply say if empty book name, just echo, say maybe book name is required in our project, so we need the book name, else do what? Else insert. You get, just simple as that. Yeah, else insert. That implies I've already handled it in a simple way for you guys, so that you don't need to overstrain yourself for now if you're just a complete beginner. And also in the other way around, now here it's inserting to MySQL table. Yeah, table. So remember, we have that with us, and now this time around we need now to find a way how to insert. So I'm going to simply say insert is equal to something called MySQL I underscore query, to query for us that given database. But remember, the first of all should be the database connection, and this time around is called con. So that con should be passed on in our project around here, should pass con here, something of that sort. And then here we'll simply say insert into. Remember, where are we inserting to? We are starting to something called books. You get, we are starting to books. So we have values and then things of that sort. And then if you go back to books, just go to SQL and remove all whatever is there. Click here, come back down here on project. Oh, add into books. Good. Books, and then what is that? That's called a book. Where are the books? Let's see courses. Course name, read book. Oh, book history. Good. I think this should be course, my friend. Made a mistake, I think. But no, I'm not going to confuse you. If I made a mistake, this is what we have there. We have book ID, book name, this blah blah stuff here. I'm not going to confuse you guys anymore. If there's a mistake, let's just work on it. And then we have book name. So where there's book ID, just make that one to be null, because remember we said auto increment the other side. And here book name, just give book name there. And where there's course ID, give it as course ID. I'll work on the other way around, don't worry. And then here we have something called book date added. Book date added, like that. So remember, that's it. So this definitely, if at all I happen to echo render that, so it should be in position to refresh from the page 3 seconds, and URL should be pointing back to the same page after some 3 seconds of hours if possible. But remember, it's not going to be in position to send for us data because we don't have ID, we don't book date added and book course ID. So this is it. We tend to handle date as time. I always take my date as seconds. Remember, this is it. If you have my date, I saved it as int, means it's really waiting to be stored as seconds. That's how I always try to protect my project. So here when you do this, definitely say book name is required, and you need to handle that. If you want it to go off after 3 seconds, this is what you do. You go to book name is required, but after 3 seconds, refresh and go back to the same page and tell us the same thing. Book name is required, and after 3 seconds it should go back. I think you can see it goes back, tells us the error, and then goes back. You can go more brilliantly by going on here and define that with a class, get, and then you say maybe alert, maybe danger, if it's okay with you, whereby danger this time around means in a simple way that there's a problem somewhere there, so definitely someone using this project should be in position to get that book name is required, and after 3 seconds should go back to its normal state, waiting for us to submit more of what we need to do. Now let me just show you guys handle this part of the system to you guys, because remember we have to get a table down here at the end of the day. So you guys, if this is your project I'm working on, please just don't forget to donate on OSP. Remember, I need your money to make me continue making for you videos. Yeah, so otherwise that's it. Okay, I was joking. If you're taking seriously, you can also talk to me, don't worry. Now this is it. I've just said your book name and then course ID. So these are the things I need to put this side. That was just a vice versa. I'm sorry for that, but don't worry. Where there's course ID here, if you guys remember that, so this should be course name. That should be course name. Sorry for that initially. And then the save course, the course name, blah blah, things of that sort. So inside here, underneath that, below that, go in that book, we need to put that something called course name. Yeah, whereby this time around we don't need to just track course name, we need to track course ID. And because I've not given in here, I need to try to say course ID is equal to that. Course ID, I think I'm done with that. So I'm going to simply save that or empty course ID. We need that. So book name, or you can simply change this one, say fill all the fields. Get, so that's definitely there. And then inside here should be in position to track for us all of those stuffs, because we have given it as expected. But remember, underneath here our course is not there. So if you click there, or they come in here and I give the right stuff, or underneath our course book, and I say maybe a book is called maybe C, maybe C programming, let me give assumption, C programming. If you try to click here in the project, it will still give you the same thing. You get? I'm still recording. You get? So it will still do the same thing in the project, and that's it. So if you check back here in the project, and if you go back here, we have the book, where the course name, blah blah, that's it. So just also go outside here. So just add that to there. I'm saying course so drop now the course name into the project. Remember, that's called course name, and that course name is equal to we need to post that course name. So you cannot still do the same thing. If enter what course name, do the same scenario. You get? Yeah, just do the same thing. We need you to echo the same stuff if possible with you. As long as the course name doesn't exist, then do the same thing. You get? Else what? We need to insert, insert course. You get? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to simply say okay, sorry, I'm always forgetting to do that, and I'm using the other MySQL instead. So I have your con, and then here I'm going to simply say insert into courses, and then that's it. We're going to just be inserting to courses, and if you check here where there's courses, I go here and try to remove that off, and if I go back here in our project, we should have those stuffs just completed as just we said. You get? So I'm always like to break this here because it will give me a chance to understand how the stuff moves. We have your course name. We have here also course date. Sorry, course date added. You get? Remember, I used here some kind of two underscores here, so it becomes as if it is a constructor or something of that sort. But don't worry, that's just nothing. There's no big problem there. I'm just going to define that as time. Remember, I showed all of the stuffs, all of my stuffs are under something called the time kind of sort. So before this page refresh, or after page refreshing, tells us here maybe that it course added or book added successfully. Get? Now the same scenario, the same stuff works for the other way around of our works for here. That's it. URL dash index that book course added successfully. So that's it. So we need to first start with the course, and I think you can see if I click there and define the course name. So don't worry, I just need to pick that name there and I can define it. Remember, we need to find the name there, but we said something about the name. So this is going to be course underscore name. So I think our project scope is complete in 40 some minutes. So I think you can see course name, fill all the fields, but otherwise, since you have only one field there to fill, you can go further and say, course name is required. You get? Yeah, so that don't get confused. Course name is required. Yeah, something of that sort, and course name is required. So if you go further and give a course name, for instance, maybe, remember here we don't have any course. If you refresh, there's no course. But if I come in here and I say maybe C programming, like so, click there, course added successfully, and after 3 seconds you refresh too, and then I think you can see as it is refreshed, you get it here definitely automatically. And if you check also inside here, I think you can see course and also the time taken as seconds if possible. And you see here under books we have nothing, so it's time for us to insert books. So let me say book, sorry, so this is a big mistake. You cannot get a course as C programming. I'm just sorry for that, but let me just try to explain this to you if possible. Just try to wipe that off. So under courses we have course maybe as maybe computer engineering, you get. So if under computer engineering should tell us course added successful, like so, and that course should be inside definitely here. And if you try to refresh again back on our project, under courses we should have course called computer engineering. And if you come back inside here, you can add the book for computer engineering, have some book called C programming, that's it. And if you click there and everything successful, tell us book added successfully. Remember, course ID is 1. So definitely if you go this side, you should be in position at the books to be tracking course ID equal to 1. So that if you get that error, don't worry. The challenge is just somewhere here. This is course that stuff. We check that again. So there's some little bit of my problem in my code. Okay, just try to get that, and then I check that how that's going to work on. So I think I just made some mistake here. Just try to work on this shortly. I made some mistake there. Okay, that should be in position to get first course ID. This is going to be course name, like so. So this wired mesh fired up in the project, and that's why it gave us that. So if you refresh back in here and do that, and say come in, maybe see programming course, select course, that, do that, think see course added successfully. And if you go back on our project, try to do that, you should get the course 1. So that's what we just tried to say last before that. And maybe on the other way around, remember we have just spoken and done most of our stuff. I can just get out of this, and you know, we need to fetch the codes or fetch the project container. I need just to create row for us there. I'm just going to create a div for this div container to be something of maybe just a call md maybe 12 complete stuff. And then this is just a table to tell us maybe table library books. Let me just try to do that, see what you have now. And then this library book, remember this is going to be a table, and you know, you can always give here your stuff called table. And Bootstrap has got some things of that sort. I have some Bootstrap files, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere here, and I just need to share with you if it's okay with you guys. I think I have some codes for Bootstrap table. Do I have some? Just check if I have any. If I have any Bootstrap here. Okay, I don't have it, it's okay. Just try to check around if I have any Bootstrap. If I have any Bootstrap in my codes, just try to drag that very Bootstrap and reuse it, so that I don't waste a lot of time, you know, coding Bootstrap. Just try to check that off. It's okay. So that's it for us now, if it's okay with you. Now that's okay. So remember, I also need to add something called the width, but remember, yeah, that's it. We need to add something like that, and that's it. And then here we need to add just something called the table head, then table that, something of that sort. Sorry, table that, and this is going to be ID if it's okay with you. This is going to be book name. Let me just start with the course. The course name, then talk of the book name for that given course, book name, and then talk of date course added, maybe date book added. You can also go further, date course added, whatever. Now underneath that here, talk of table body, table row. Now remember, even here there's something called a row. If it's okay with you, I just need to drag this little bit off from there. So that's it. So underneath this table row, it's where we're going to add our table data, you get, whereby our table data will be having different stuff, but I don't need to track ID really. I need to track just the number for the given courses we need to add in our projects, you get. So if that's the case, then I just need to go inside here and just define some PHP command to fetch for me the stuff. But remember, this fetching of course and the other stuff is going to be a combination of two tables. You get, combine the two tables technique. Now I don't care, guys, what you guys use. Some of you guys use in join, left join, blah blah join, even OSP join. I don't know which one you use. As long as it's joined, you use your join. But I'm going to give you the simplest method on how to join up a given table with the other table. Hey guys, if this is your first time to watch my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just request to subscribe, and if possible, share this video to other people. And you guys who like fun videos, videos that make you funny, make you laugh. I don't know to make people laugh, but I can make people understand what I'm doing. If you find that you have understood basically what I'm doing with you here, then just share this video with your friends and comment on the video. And if you need me to record again, I have no problem. I have some enough time, and I can always give you another hand on how this project should work on. Now, how are we going to be fetching up the tables? But remember, what are the tables we're going to use? We have the different tables. We actually have two tables. One of the table is called courses, and the other table is called books. Is it okay? Yeah. So which one is feeding who? We have books having course ID. That implies we need to track the things basing on that. So we're going to simply say maybe tables, which is our tables, is going to be equals to MySQL underscore query. And remember the connection I'm using called that. So I'll simply say select everything from our tables called courses, comma, but I'll not just say courses, I'll say courses with the C's, because C shows that it's going to be courses. And then in books I present by B. Then I'll use a where clause, where maybe. Now who's feeding who? Where course ID is equal to where C dot course ID is equal to B dot course ID. You get? That's it. That's going to give us a chance to generally pick the complete stuffs in our MySQL database. You guys, you can even go further. If I remove that from there, you can even go and put it on top of this code so that we get to do some other few things around. For instance, we can even go back here and I try to span the project, and then I do this class that badge, and I just fetch, maybe echoing the number of courses we really have. That's going to be MySQL I underscore number of rows. You get? For what? For tables. You get? MySQL I number of rows tables. So here definitely you're just going to be giving up that. But remember, I said the number here, so definitely it's going to be just equals to 1. So there I use something called increment. You guys, if you want this source of code, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to post down on my video. You'll find it on my video. Download it from me. Sorry, not from my video. You cannot download from there, but I'm going to put the description on my video, and then you're going to download this same source code from ospro.com. So guys, if you have never used ospro.com, I have there very many tutorials. I have there very many source codes for different projects that I'm doing for students, and very many systems. So you can also use the same platform to give me a hand, like buy my courses or buy my videos from one on us gumroad.com. If at all you're from not Uganda, you can actually use to Gumroad. But if you're from Uganda, you can just come direct to OSP, or you can just check on this video description, look for my link, and then hit me up. So thank you. Now here I've said we are going to be fetching up that. So here I'm just going to be using something called X++. Remember, I'm saying we're using something called increment to increment for us the data from within the course, or the number of rows in our database, and that done mashing, you get. Then the next thing is course name, so this should be course underscore name. And then the next thing should be something called a book. And then the next thing should be date course added. So date book added. This forces me to books. Book date added. Good. Now remember, if I save like that and I try to come back here in your browser, refresh there, we should have that's one. I think you can see that's one. And if I shake again, book course, select everything from courses where course ID is equal to that, and then this should be in position to generate for us. But remember, it cannot do, because we forgot something called a loop. We need to create something called either for loop or a while loop. I always use a while loop because it's more simpler compared to the rest, and also I want you guys to understand how it is done. So I'm just going to create a row here which is going to be fetching for us MySQL underscore fetch a sock, like so. And then this should be something called tables, like so. And then here I'm just going to do that and do that. Like so. And definitely if you do that in a project, you get that. Now here, this should be not the right way to be with that. We can do that by saying date. We can get one as day, month, year, and then I track this in there. You get? So this definitely date, year, that. This is date, give me date, year, and that. So month, what, give blah. Gives you something of that. If you want to go further, you can even go further and say I'm giving just that. I think is that. I think I made a mistake. So this should be possible to give you 27th or blah blah of that. So that implies I don't need this anymore. 27th what blah blah, and that's it. So guys, that's it. That's how this project is done, and that's how I've decided to do it. So you guys, you can add more course. For instance, course maybe software, software engineering. Remember, when you add there, that refresh does not come in and does not affect here. I think you can see does not come in here. But if I add software engineering as a course and add a book, we have still maybe which other book do we have in the library? For instance, we have maybe website designing. Remember, if I add that book in the library, still we have course computer engineering, they still get the same thing. Even the guy for software engineering still get the same thing. You get? I just need to come in here and I say maybe C programming, the same, but it looks wastage. So that pushes us to the next video, which I'll be showing guys how to edit and delete this simple application. You guys, if you find this video interesting, please don't forget to give thumbs up, sharing with your friends, and don't forget share with your friends. And if you dislike the videos too, don't hesitate. You can still dislike it if you don't want. And if you have some comment, maybe to let us know what basically we can come up with in the next video, I will show you. I have a reason as to why nowadays I'm trying to stick on guys showing Python applications and maybe the PHP or kind of web-based application, because most of the desktop applications are getting a little bit off. Why? Because most of the people nowadays have smartphones. So I'm going to be giving guys more of the videos on this, though the guys for PHP, meaning for Java, and those guys for C++, C, and those of you of VB and the VBA, I've not forgotten you. I'm also going to get a week for you guys. So today I'm giving this video, and every week I'll be giving a video for you guys. So show me love on this description so that I can get to know this video for 1 hour, whether it has changed your life or it has brought a curse in your family. So otherwise, thanks for watching this video. May God bless you and be loved. Thank you. Amen.